Welcome to class number 5 of our English A4C Csec. This week we look at the writing process, specifically the planning stage of the writing process. This week you were able to understand the importance of each step in the planning stage, as well as learn words like brainstorm and research, as well as understand how the skills that we learned in our previous weeks of writing applies to this stage. In the previous sessions, we understood that the writing process is our guide or our roadmap to writing coherent, succinct, flowing academic essays. In these steps, we understand that you must first interrogate the question to learn what Csec is requiring of you. In the prompts, you will learn the format in which you should be writing, the audience to whom you should be writing, the purpose for which you should be writing, as well as the information needed in this piece, the language and the register that will be used. As you interrogate the question and you extrapolate this information, you can then move ahead to your next step, which would be brainstorming. Brainstorming uses your critical thinking skills, where you just storm your brain with as many questions surrounding the topic as you please. But this is not supposed to be done haphazardly. No, when we are brainstorming, we also annotate. And in our annotation, we use what are called graphic organizers to help us keep track of all of those thoughts. As we critically analyze our thoughts, we will then use references that we get from research data, which is secondary sources that we can pull factual information so that we can support our opinions. Now, this research data requires a lot of critical analysis because you need to interrogate each piece that you're using as a reference. As you go along to have these references, you can make inferences, and as you make inferences, you draw more information from your reading that helps in your explanation and your delivery of the topic. As you make these inferences, you constantly annotate all of the answers that you're coming up with as you continuously reflect and think about what you're thinking. Moving on from this stage, it is not enough to have these information in these categories that you have annotated. What we will then do is look for a sequential pattern, a logical sequence or a chronological sequence, and organize the information based on our scope. So based on the perspective that we're taking when we're delivering the information to the audience that will be delivering them, we will have a particular impact that we want to have on the reader in mind. As we work towards getting this particular impact effected, you will also make note of techniques and devices that you can use to help drive home certain points, especially when it deals with supporting details and presenting those supporting details in an emotionally effective way. Moreover, the impact of your essay will also be dependent on how well you formulate your paragraphs. So last week we learned that your language can be elevated from simple sentences to complex sentences, or even compound complex sentences. In this class we learned that all of those sentences have a function in each and every paragraph. So for your 5-paragraph structure, each sentence has a function. When you organize the sentences in terms of these functions, by the time you are finished completing your idea with all of the necessary working sentences, without much effort, you have created a paragraph. Now you can go back to that paragraph and you can put in all of those special transition words that you have drawn either from our phrase bank or you have used in your own brainstorming. Apply those transition words that you have already selected as part of your essay. By the time you're finished putting in these minor details, your drafting is almost complete. And you can go ahead revising, reviewing, and editing your work. This is what we covered this week in our Csec English class, and I hope you join me next week for more information.